Hi guys, it's Abby from Autumn with Pellinor, and today I'm going to be talking again about annotating books. So I talked about this around a year ago now. It's one of my most viewed videos, is about annotating in books, and I know that a lot of people struggle with this, and I can too. And in that book I just kind of talked about how I annotated, what I annotated, and kind of ways to do it, and I thought I would update you and give a few more different options. In my original video it was just, these are the different ways you can annotate, do one of these. And instead I'm going to talk about kind of progressing your way into being able to just annotate in a book. Because it can feel really weird. We're taught to kind of treat books as sacred, we don't want to crack the spines, we don't want to write in them, but at the same time, if you think about some of your favourite books, unless you're a very specific type of person, for a lot of us those books are going to be falling apart at the seams. My Harry Potter books, my Pellinor books have pages coming out of them just because I've read and reread them so many times, and that doesn't make me love them any less. And I kind of wish that I had notes in them. I think I said this in the last one, I kind of wish I had my notes in them from the time when I read them. But also part of me is fine with not having that, so it's a difficult balance to strike. In terms of getting yourself to write in books, step number 1, write in pencil. Write lightly in pencil in a book. Book pages tend to have a yellow tint, so adding the grey onto it isn't too harsh compared to lightly writing on a white piece of paper, and you can rub it out if you either make a mistake or decide that you don't want those notes anymore. You do have to be careful not to like crinkle the pages when you're rubbing out, but it is doable, and I've done it before when I've made notes in school books and then sold them on to other people. I've went through and rubbed out all of my writing. So that's like baby steps, dipping a toe in to actually writing in books. None of this post-it note malarkey, actually writing in a book. Step number 2, darken your pencil strokes. Write with a heavy hand, actually write in the book with a pencil. You can do this gradually, you don't have to go from almost not being able to see it to pressing down as hard as you can, but if you do just write a bit heavier in the pencil, makes it a little bit harder to rub out, leaves a bit more of an indent on the page, and build that up, you're eventually going to get used to that. And then you can move on to writing in pen. You could use those friction pens where you can rub them out using friction. That is similar to a pencil but a little bit more permanent. It feels more permanent because it's a pen. Or you can just write in pen in your book. Step number 3 is then writing in ink. Just writing in ink. Not erasable, not gonna erase it, you've written in that book in ink. It's there, it's permanent, you've permanently written in that book. You wrote in that book. Do you feel uncomfortable? Think about it, if you found a book secondhand from 50 years ago and someone had written in it, you would find that awesome. The vast majority of us would be so interested to see what someone from so long ago had thought. You can do that for the future. Step number 4, the last step to know when you've fully conquered being able to write in a book, is to be able to highlight in a book. Whether this is with an actual highlighter or just with a coloured felt tip pen, when you can finally actually just colour in a section of your book, that's when you know that you can write in books and that you're fine with it. This took me a little while, and the reason I ended up using felt tip pens is because I was colour coding my notes and I wanted it to match, and I don't have a red highlighter, so I used a red felt tip pen. Again, this can be a little more awkward because it might seep through to the other side, so highlighters are a little better, or pens that you know won't seep through, just so that you're not confusing your notes. But I think that once you're able to do that, that's kind of like the final step. So how are you going to get there? How are you going to manage to do this? Those 4 steps seem really simple and really easy, but how do you get yourself to do it in the first place? I think starting off with secondhand books is a great way to go, even if it's just a secondhand kids book. And you start with the pencil one so you can rub it out and redonate it so that a child can still read the book, but you've written a book. And then get another secondhand book, this time When I said kids book, I meant like, you know, the really short ones. This time get like a middle grade book, an actual chapter book, and write notes in that one and keep it. and just keep getting these books that you want to read. If kids' books are what you read, if you read middle grade, just keep getting more middle grade, but just keep getting more books and writing in them and writing in them. Secondhand is really helpful because sometimes they've been written in already, especially with kids' books. They can have things like their names in the front of them, but also you don't have that worried feeling of, oh my god, this is a brand new book and I'm gonna ruin it. Like with a pre-owned, pre-loved secondhand book, it's easier because the spine's already cracked, it's already worn, it doesn't have that new sparkling fresh feeling, and it can help just kind of get over that fear. And last but not least, sometimes you just aren't a writing in books person. There's nothing wrong with that. There's also nothing wrong with writing in books. There was something on Twitter a little while ago about where people kicked off, there was some post-it notes that were completely see-through. I have some similar, but they have a non-see-through section, and you could write on them, so you can still like underline sections and highlight sections without actually writing on the book. And it really set off book Twitter because some people were kicking off about how it's like, oh, at least you're not destroying a book. And that is not the opinion to have, guys. If it's, you know, a special edition and it's like one of a kind, it's worth so much money, I get if it's something really special, not marking it. That makes sense because you're destroying it for others. If it's going to be something that's special, it's collectible to others too. If it's just a book, if you've just bought a book from Waterstones or Barnes & Nobles or Chapters or wherever you buy books, in whatever country you're in, if you've just went and got a book from the shelves, it's not special. The only thing that makes it special is that it's yours, and the way to make it more yours is to write in it, if you want to. But again, it's personal choice, but I don't think that we should be like yelling at other readers for writing in their own books. Like, it's their own possession, they're keeping it, they can do what they want with it. It's when people like get mad at artists who use books and rip them up or like carve into them for art. Like, yeah, sure, someone could have read that book and loved it, but oftentimes they'll take the raggedy looking books from a charity shop that no one seems to be picking up, that stay there for a while, and they'll go through them and use them. How do I know this? I lived with an artist for a year, that's what she did. She thought I was gonna get mad because she was destroying books, and sometimes she would pick up a book that I thought was interesting. And then she'd offer to let me read it, and I would either read it before she destroyed it, because it's her book, she paid the money for it, she can do what she wants with it, or I'd go, actually no, I don't care about reading it, just destroy it, just do what you want. And people can make beautiful art out of books. It's not the original, only singular copy. There are more copies of that book in existence. You don't need to worry about one copy being destroyed, especially when it's to then make something as beautiful as art. I just really think that some people have gotten really prosaic about how we shouldn't destroy books, and I really think it's such a pity because some really beautiful art can be made with them, notes can be made with them that can help people to more deeply understand a work and to resonate with the text more and then make them like the book more. It's really good for students because they can then analyse it better for their exams, and we all want you guys to do well in your exams. There's nothing wrong with writing in books, and there's nothing wrong with not writing in books. If you've come to this video like, oh, I keep seeing people tweeting and saying and making videos about this is how you need to write in books, you need to write in books. You don't need to. I think it can be fun, depending on the book. I think that if it's a book that you've been like really anticipating and really waiting for and you're like, oh, I don't want to ruin my copy, if you want to make notes, do it in a book, do it in pencil, like the recommendations I made in my last video. If you want to make notes but you don't want to ruin your special new copy of this brand new release, that's fine. You don't have to. You can do. It'll make it more special. You can go back through and see what you thought the first time you were reading it, but you can do that without writing in the book too. Just let other people live their lives, essentially, is my point here. People get so defensive either way, whether they are wanting people to write in books or wanting people to not write in books. And I do think, do what you want. But if you want to write in books, that was a way to kind of get you into it. And if you want to keep writing in books and want different methods of making notes for annotations, then I'll put up at the end screen a link to my annotations video, and you can look through that and see different methods, because there are a lot of ways that you can make notes on books, whether that's writing in them or not. I hope you enjoyed my little rant here today. I got a little bit annoyed. And if you want to see anything more from me, hit the subscribe button down below and check out my links in the description to where I am all over the book2net. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!